I know I say it all the time, but 2024 has had an unbelievable start and not all in great ways. So without further ado, let's dive into the news that happened last week in esports.
Baker, what was that?
Cloud9 are your E-League Major champions!
This is Rocket League!
This week we're starting off with Rocket League, and I'm going to be honest with you. I personally don't think this is good news, but make your own opinions on this. But the RLCS for this season has changed. The Rocket League Championship Series, or RLCS, has made some significant changes, and to me and to a lot of others, they're not necessarily great. One, they've gotten rid of most of all of the notable casters in Rocket League. And I say most, but like a core four of them, massive influences in the Rocket League community, massive pillars of the community and of Rocket League are not going to be returning on the official broadcast. Now, we talked a couple weeks ago about Blast was taking over for the Rocket League and Fortnite Championship Series, and I don't know if this has to be tied into it, but Rocket League has had 5 months to make these decisions. This is the longest offseason we've ever had of Rocket League, and that was on purpose. But who the hell knows how they came up with this decision? On top of that, they've also changed the payout structure. Now you have to finish in the top 128 to get paid. Mind you, I myself, a lowly, crappy Rocket League player, have finished in the top 128 before. That's basically just making it through a couple rounds in day one. Okay, you shouldn't get paid for 128, but that's going to happen. So I will be running quals this week, I guess, and we'll see. I'm going to have some fun. I'll probably stream it if you want to check in, but RLCS quals are this week. We'll see how those go. But it's crazy that 128 gets paid out. More money not going to the top players. Also, the overall prize pool is down. Another crazy move. Don't know what's going on. And another big one that I actually don't think is going to be talked about enough is the Women's Carball Series, which is this hat I'm wearing. Women's Rocket League has their own tournament organization and is not going to be returning. At least not by the org G1 who runs it and owns it right now. Maybe Sonic, something down the road. Either way, WCB is not returning. With WCB not returning, Psyonix has also made an update to their rules saying that like an org can't have multiple teams participating. So the orgs that have a men's team and a women's team, multiple men's teams or just multiple teams, period, can only have one performing under their banner in the quals. Let's just say 5 months of radio silence from Psyonix and Epic Games to give us this, not a great look. We've waited quite a few months for this, but League of Legends has finally returned. All of the major regions have started, except for LPL, which is technically starting on Monday, the 22nd. So you'll see that news, I guess, next week. But most of the major regions have started, and it's looking interesting. You know, we're going to start in Europe, and we're going to start with K-Core, who is obviously one of the biggest fan bases in esports. These people are truly rabid fans, and they treat esports like normal sports. And their team is playing awful. K-Core is the bottom of Europe right now, and they're getting flamed everywhere. So we'll see how things shape up in Europe. Right now, the standings are kind of looking like you would anticipate. G2 on top. Hopping over to NA, we have the LCS. Obviously, it started back. Cloud9 with the best roster in North America and the best player in probably every role on one team. Obviously dominates 2-0 week for them, Cloud9 on top. And then also we have Gen.G taking care of business and actually taking care of business against T1. Gen.G improved to 2-0. They're top of the standings, and T1 is 1-1. But it's okay because Faker has another world championship probably coming up. Speaking of Faker and World Championships, League of Legends has announced their Hall of Fame. It's going to be called the Hall of Legends, and I'm here for it. I don't know who should be the first indoctrinated. I also think that you should not be in the Hall of Fame before you retire. So Faker, who should probably be the first inductee, probably not going to be the first one in there. But it would be interesting. You have the likes of Doublelift and Bjergsen from North America. You got players from around the world. Xpeke, one of them. Players who probably should be in there. But it'll be fantastic to see how that pans out and how that looks. For the Rainbow Six Siege fans out there, the South Breach Invitational has finished, and it was actually a really fun event. I love the commentary, love the event overall, and it's great to see these kind of happening in the off season to buy time for others. But South Breach is finished, and Team Valor took it home. I think they won the final series 3-1. They looked dominant all week. But speaking of dominant, G2 got knocked out early, but G-Who showed up and then eventually did lose to the winner and then the second place team. G-Who finishing in third, Team Secret taking second. I think there's a lot of questions about that G2 roster, even though it's a world championship team. So it will be really interesting to see kind of what goes on there. But Siege is in a great spot. If they can figure out how to start dealing with hackers and helping out the player base, the esports looking fantastic and definitely ready for more viewers. If you're a fan of Battle Royales, then Apex Legends is right there for you. I love their esport. I'm awful at Apex, and I absolutely love watching Apex Legends. And I love the format they do. But either way, ALGS Split 1 has started, and the first week was Group A versus Group B, and it was fantastic across the weekend. We had the Europe, the Middle East, and Africa region start. It was kind of all over the place, nothing super notable, at least from that region. But of course, when it comes to notability, we got to talk about North America. Dark Zero and TSM, it's their show. It's always their year. And they dominated the first event, or at least the first day, first weekend. Mind you, this will take place for like the next 7 weekends or 8 weekends or something like that through March. And it's super exciting. If you haven't watched Apex, I love watching competitive Apex. Playing Apex, different story. Competitive Apex, fantastic watch. Another esport I absolutely love and revere is Halo, and I think they have just perfected the art of an arena shooter. Not to take away from COD, I just think Halo, maybe bias, maybe nostalgia, it's perfect. But either way, Halo has announced their roadmap for 2024, and I cannot think of anything better than what they have planned. They have 4 main events hosted by 4 major orgs in their hometowns, and then the World Championship. So Optic is going to be in Arlington, Texas. Quadrant will be in London. FaZe in Atlanta and SSG in Salt Lake City, Utah, all leading up to the World Championship. Beautiful. This is what we need to see, and this is what orgs want. This is how orgs make money and get their name out there and show off these big sponsors and get paid and look good doing it. When you see teams dropping out of Rocket League because there's no path to, profit, no. Halo is doing it right. You're telling me an Optic event's not going to sell out in Texas? Yeah, it's going to be crazy. I'll buy Optic merch. I'm thinking about traveling out there. Okay? It's going to be sick. Huge shout out to Halo. Very, very excited for the championship series this year. I think this is going to be something special. As always, thank you all so much for watching and hanging out with me today. I appreciate it so much. Thanks for coming to me as your best source of all things esports. But as always, this week we've got tons of stuff coming up. We have the Rocket League qualifiers. ALGS is going to continue. The Blast Premier spring stage has started for 2024 and more. There'll be plenty to cover. So thank you all for watching. Please like, comment, subscribe. I'm sorry to keep bothering you. Do it. It helps me out. It's easy. But as always, thank you guys and GG's.